I'm George Boston Rhynes, and I just left the South Georgia Regional Library here in Valdosta, Georgia. I found it to be very interesting. I found out that they are concerned about the people in this community having access to a public library. And I agree with much of what was said. I would take issue a little bit with Ms. Lindsay about, she referenced the fact that an individual that sits at the library and uploads videos, how I could be against Splosh. Well, and how I could make a statement about $100,000, people getting $100,000. She said that nobody at the library gets $100,000. And even before I go back and review my video, I just want to apologize if I said anybody at the library gets $100,000. I know better than that. But I am talking about people in the city that does get over $100,000 a year. And I'm saying that they could cut in other areas rather than the people who are at the bottom of the economic ladder. That is my point then, and that is my point now, and I do not back down off of that. But I also understand that she is quite correct in her negatives towards me, and that is in this regard. She said to me, Miss Lindsay did, George, you speak ill of the library. Why can't you say some good things about what we're doing? And she is correct, and I don't mind being corrected. She is correct. There are more good things that I can say about the library that I have not said. There are more good things I can say about the city of Valdosta that I have not said, because I've said it before, but I didn't go in depth with it. Valdosta in Lowndes County and South Georgia in general is a beautiful place to live. It's ideally located. It's just a good place to live. I love the weather, I love the climate, and I love the people. It's just a small segment of people who wants to keep control over the mass media, who wants to keep control over the Section 3 funds, want to keep control over Title 6 and Section 8, Title 8, and different things, and lock others out. That's what I'm against. I'm against the paving of roads where the low-income black and white people cannot get some of the sidewalk money generated from sidewalk constructions of new buildings, and et cetera, et cetera. And you know that. The contractors that I talk with and have access to, this is what makes Valdosta and Brooks County a bad place to live. This is what makes me tell the truth. This is what makes me understand more about what the parents must do when their government called them to send their sons in harm's way when they are not respected here in the United States under our form of government. For instance, if there is no picture at the 23rd Rescue Combat Wing at Moody, then I shouldn't have to say anything about it. I believe that the men in uniform should say something about it. I believe that the Christian, the Muslim, the Jews, and others should say something about it. And I believe everyday retired military veterans ought to say something, because we should respect the Commander-in-Chief of our sons and daughters, regardless of who he or she may be. So please understand, Brother Rhynes, I sit here at this library, and there's a lot of good things. I watch people on the bottom of the ladder. Some people walk from wherever they live to this library, and when they build a new library, they'll have to walk way out north in a town. And so this, when I spoke against Splosh at the Valdosta City Council meeting, I turned to the people in the audience and I said that the Valdosta Daily Times that I'm voting against Splosh, and here is why. Because as Councilman Wright says, in the black African American community and poor white communities, we believe that the money could have been better spent, such as putting sidewalks on Forest Street where our children now have to walk in the street, on Troop Street where some of the many of the homes do not even have a decent driveway. They don't have curbing, they don't have sidewalks, and so that is a problem. And so I was informed by some of the elected officials on City Council that some of these problems have been earmarked or drawn up to be completed or get started on around 2001 or 2003, and still nothing has started. And to go start on a 20 or 50 or 40 or $50 million expense of the city without taking care of the basics of the city, then I think that the Splosh money could be better spent. I agreed with Noah Cox, who's a Republican and a Tea Party member and one of the founders of that organization. I was with him, I interviewed him, because the Brother Rhynes is not about partisan politics, it's not about religion, it's not about skin color, it's about doing what is right. As I told Ms. Lindsay earlier, this nation became better and better and better because people made it better and better and better. They saw things and they spoke out on it. But it's needless to say, it seems like in our world today that if a segment of people knew that they were putting radiation in our babies' formula, they would be too scared to say anything about it. Babies could be dying. They could know our water is polluted and working at a water plant, and they wouldn't say nothing about it. But this is why I believe that if we're going to go in foreign countries, listen to me please, because I'm very serious about this. If they're going to go into foreign countries and fight for the rights of people in foreign nations, then we sure as hell should be able to fight to make things better here in the United States of America. So to the South Georgia Regional Library here, or Georgia Regional Library here in Valdosta, I commend all the workers here. I see them doing a great job. I still believe that the people that work here should not allow people to eat on the computers. They should not be able to use profanity in and around the computers. I also believe that every now and then the people that work here should get up from their desk and walk around the area of the computer area to make sure that everything is fine. There's no reason for the patriots to have to look towards the desk when there's a lot of noise, people using profanity, among other things. If you are working here, and I have written letters after letters to this library about making it better, and major changes have been made. This library has definitely become a better place to sit, to read the newspaper and just enjoy, and to research and to take tests online here. And I agree with Ms. Lindsay is that I owe them an apology. I could have done better because there is a lot of good stuff going on here. But once again, I still believe that 12 furlough days, as I stated before, I think I'm correct on that. These low-income people, it just seems like to me that maybe they've done everything they could, and if the board has done everything they could, then you've done everything you could. You have no reason to worry about what Brother Ryan said, because Mr. Patrick here at the library said before, when I talked about renovating the building, he had more information. He talked about the slab that the library is built on. He talked about the flat roof. He talked about the leaks in it. Well, I don't know about that. So often I may speak about stuff I don't know about, but once I become informed about it, maybe I can change my decision. But right now, I don't have enough information to make me vote for Splosh unless somebody puts some guarantees up that the people who most deserving and who most need that money in their community on the low economic side of this town, who have been crying out for years, decades really, to get something done, then, you know, it's just that simple. And I'm going to close this out. And again, I saw Miss Editor K. Harris was chairing the meeting, and I can only wonder why the 3 citizens that spoke at the council meeting the other night, nothing was published in the Valdosta Daily Times, and so the people in our beloved community are totally ignorant to what took place at this public meeting here in the state of Georgia. And I do believe that the citizens have a right to know what's going on under our form of government. I do not believe the citizens in Valdosta, deaf, dumb, and blind to the times. They're not able to make any tough decision because people don't get it out. I just left Lakeland the other night, and you're going to see that on this YouTube channel a little later. I was over in Brooks County. Brooks County don't even have a Georgia flag at the city council meeting. I just went to Lakeland last night. They don't have a Georgia flag. And why is that important, except for the fact that our National Guard, when they are training, they under the Georgia flag, and we know that. And so why is it that those National Guard people, why can't they see their flag flying that they serve under until the national disaster or whatever are called up from the federal government? So it's just the right thing to do. And when people come into South Georgia, we need to be professionals even in the small towns, so people can see that just because we're down south, that we do things like they do up in North Georgia and Middle Georgia. Just because we down on the low end don't mean that the citizens and voters don't have a right. Just over in Brooks County, July the 17th, a public meeting concerning alleged voter intimidation, voter disenfranchisement by leaving people off the ballot, and not one word was published in the newspaper about it in terms of the beef or what took place when people talked about how they signed up to be a poll worker and a poll manager, and nothing, they never got any paperwork back. And yet the Secretary of State sent his investigator down, and he met with people. You can see all that on YouTube. But in South Georgia, all that information have been lost. It's like as if though a tree fell in the forest and there is no forest. And somebody got to tell the truth. Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. I served my beloved nation, and I served it honorably with several commendation medals and other awards. And if I could stand up on behalf of this beautiful country that I love, then I surely should be able to stand up for the rights of everyday common citizens here in Valdosta and South Georgia in general. That's only the right thing to do. And once again, I want to thank you for visiting YouTube, and I want to apologize to Ms. Lindsay and all the great workers here at Valdosta and Georgia Regional Library. Just continue doing the good work that you're doing and do it just a little bit better. Thank you so much. George Boston Rhymes, on behalf of the people, keeping you informed, because that's what we do. Bye-bye. We gone.